Meow. The problem with the Huberman podcast, check this out, I'm giving you this right off the bat instead of making you watch the whole video. The problem with the Huberman podcast is you. If you've been following this YouTube channel for a while, you probably know that I'm super into any sort of like productivity hacks, all that kind of stuff. So when Huberman came on the scene, when I first noticed him, it was like a perfect fit for me and I became a mega fan. I was listening to all the stuff, reading all the books, which is all good. There's lots of good information on it. But being someone who has listened and watched for a couple years now, I've started to realize some fallacies and traps that I've fallen into, not because the information is wrong, but because of who I am and how I approach information. And a big one that I've been running into that I'm just now starting to see the other side of is this like perfectionist mindset. It was already doable with all the information out there, but with Huberman stuff, the ability to dial in so much specificity within your life, within your morning routine, can be crippling. And for me, what it feels like is, okay, I'm the type of person that if I'm going to go try to make gains in the gym, I'm not just going to go to the gym. I'm going to get creatine. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to find the best workout plan. I'm going to optimize my sleep. I'm going to do all this stuff and try to make the biggest gains I can make at one time. And the fallacy in my head with all of this is that if I'm not doing absolutely everything possible to maximize growth, then I'm doing nothing and I'm not growing at all. And this is part of what I'm doing here on YouTube even in the first place. You can grow, learn, and progress without it being absolutely perfect. I am someone who constantly chases things, and I love getting absolutely proficient with them, and I'm willing to spend the time on my drum kit just hitting the same notes over and over. However, it also means that sometimes I let go of things when I'm good at them because I don't feel that I'm maximizing 100% on them. Last year my life kind of took a turn, and I let go of drumming and I let go of music. For those of you that don't know, I produce, I drum, I do all this kind of stuff. And I purposefully let it go because I wanted to chase something else. However, what I noticed was over the year where I wasn't actively chasing music and drumming, I was still getting better at it. I would not practice for 3 weeks and then I'd go up on stage and play and I would still be better than I was. I would have better ideas, my music, my ear would develop and I'd get better at my producing. Recently I went on a trip with my friends and I was talking with some of them and my girlfriend about it. They were encouraging me to get back on YouTube, get back into music, get back into all this stuff. And I feel the pull to it, but my brain, I felt my brain go, well, if I'm not doing 100%, I'm not doing it all, there's no point into it. And they're going, put one video out a month, put one video out every 2 months, something like that. And my brain hears that and then it goes, no, if it's not weekly, if it's not daily, if I'm not maximizing 100%, it's not even worth it. And then I'm like, you know what? I've gotten better at things that I was not fully dedicated to, so there is some fallacy here. Nimbus. There's some fallacy here, and I feel that Huberman podcast listeners are those type of people because we're the type of people that see how much specificity we can add into something and go, whoa, gains could be absolutely huge, whether in physical gains or whatever gains you're trying to make. And so you end up in this stage of perfectionism procrastination, which is a weird form of procrastination, but it is one where, like, for example, you don't put anything out on YouTube for over a year because if you're not fully dedicated to YouTube, it won't grow at all. It's this huge fallacy. And you know what? Maybe I'm speaking to nobody, but I don't think I am. I'm definitely speaking to me, and anybody who follows my channel and is into Huberman, Matt Diavella, you probably fall into these traps of if it's not perfect, it's nothing. That's the problem with the Huberman podcast. It allows you to dial in more extreme than humanity has ever had the capability to do. And then I subconsciously take that as a responsibility and as a weight, and then I find myself one morning being guilty or feeling guilty or being down on myself because I didn't hit my cold plunge routine or I didn't hit my this and that. Those are all really amazing things. And maybe some people don't struggle with it, but I struggle with trying to be perfect because I know that it feels like it's out there. I want to put this video out there because it is a self-fulfilling video that this can be done. I'm trying to prove to myself that, you know what, me filming this right now, this is impromptu. I woke up this morning, I went to the gym, blah, all this stuff, and I'm trying to be more on myself about Just do it. Just do it. I don't need to sit down and be like, hey, okay, well, I do want to start a YouTube channel, but I need to wait for a big 2-hour block that I have to think about everything that I want to do, then put that into a plan, then reschedule my life so that every Tuesday and Thursday I have 2 hours in the morning to film. I've just realized that I'm losing to the people that are just doing it and they're not planning. Planning is amazing. Just doing is amazing. Mixing them is even better. And I am a planner, big time. Overthink, get things out on paper, dial it in, do all the math, which is extremely beneficial for me. However, I lose out often. There's some people that started doing YouTube after me that have blown past me, and I was in a way better position to succeed. And they've absolutely blown past me because they just did it and I didn't, And that sucks to see, but that's the price of a lesson, That seems about right. With all this information out there on the Huberman podcast, it's not just the Huberman podcast, right? You listen to Huberman podcast and you get exposed to all these incredible thinkers of our day, and then you go listen to their podcast and they expose you to more. And basically, I'm finding myself in this situation where I am just blasting my ears with incredible information pretty much 24/7, which is awesome and really good for me, but also means that I realize how high the ceiling is and how far I could go and how far away I am from it, which can be demoralizing. I know, right? I know that cold plunge is beneficial. I know that contrast therapy is beneficial. I know that waking up at, whatever is beneficial. And unfortunately, on top of all that, I also have big dreams. And so I think that my brain is like, if I want to get here, I have to do this. And it's probably true. But it doesn't mean that stuff happens overnight. I look at these people in these podcasts and they're 30, 40, 50, sometimes even 60. And I'm 27 years old and I'm like, shit. I don't have my stuff together, and I'm not an absolutely flawless at this. And I also think about, I've learned over the last year that I just need to do stuff. I just need to put out music. I just need to put out YouTube videos. As I'm literally sitting here, I have no structure to this. I'm rambling. All the thoughts in my head are going, this is stupid. This is not going to come out right. It's not going to be a good video. The structure isn't going to be good, which is probably true. Some of these things they're bombarding my mind right now, and I'm battling them going, but I'm going to get a video out, and I haven't done that in over a year. So, I've got to find this line between perfectionism and getting it done. And you know what? It's even harder for anyone that has to do something in an art field, right? If you put out music, if you make pottery, if you do photos, putting out that kind of stuff and it not being perfect and being willingly vulnerable to the criticism that you will get sucks. It's hard. It's a tough wall to break past. And I've often envied the people that seem to believe in themselves for no reason. I can't do it. I can't believe in myself for no reason. I simply can't. And I've struggled with that for a long time until I heard a quote that was like, true confidence comes not from faking it till you make it, but from a stack of evidence that you are who you say you are. And for me, I just simply can't fake it till I make it. I can't. My mannerisms give me away. My confidence gives me away. But when I have dug into that and tried to find out, okay, I'm insecure about this, I don't know about this, and I dig and dig and dig, I come up with my stack of evidence, and then I don't have to trick myself anymore. I know that I am who I say I am because here's all the proof of it, and if you want to come talk to me about it and we're going to get into an argument or whatever about it, I've got a stack of evidence ready to go. That's what it requires for me to put out a song or do something like that. I see so many people, so much music online that I feel, I'm like, this is awful. And I'm not trying to roast those people. In fact, I'm trying to lift them up because the fact that they are able to still put it out anyways, I don't have that capability and I want to have more of that. And this video is kind of the start of that. So the problem with the Huberman podcast is us. It's not the podcast, but it has so much good information. It can be absolutely overwhelming and damning to yourself. It feels damning to yourself to realize how much potential there is out there and not be able to achieve it. Not to mention, progress is so slow burn, New Year's resolutions is a prime example of people thinking that I make this decision now and I'm going to change everything about my life. And it's really, really tough because you guys all know that resolutions don't stick. The statistics show that resolutions do not stick, but I do it every year and I make a little bit of progress. And I have this expectation to be perfect and be able to do all this stuff. But the reality is, we really should be looking at the 10-year version, the 5-year slow burn, And I've had to wake up recently and be like, you know what? People gain their weight 200 calories at a time over 10 years, and then they try to lose it in 3 months, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I say all this stuff. You've heard all that stuff before. So why is this any different? And I think that's my point. We end up in this position where it's like, okay, we have all this knowledge, right? We have all this intake, and we still don't know what to do with it. We're still in a position of waking up going, I don't weigh what I want to weigh. I'm not hitting the goals that I want to hit. Blah, 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 blah. So how do we get out of that? I think you have to stop playing the game. I think you have to stop watching the clock. I think this is one of those stare at the watch pot never boils. You know, if you're evaluating yourself constantly, but then it's like, okay, cool, I'm evaluating myself constantly. And what do you want me to do? Stop? Because I can't stop evaluating myself, because then I no longer have a scale with which to grow from. Okay, so the answer isn't to completely stop evaluating yourself, but maybe the answer is to stop judging yourself based on that evaluation, right? It's easy, it's very easy when you go to the gym for a long time to be, hey, look at one metric, what's my weight? If that doesn't show what I want it to show, I must not be gaining any progress. And what you completely ignore is that, you know what? You didn't used to be able to go to the gym even 3 times a week. Whether or not you're making any physical progress, you're headed somewhere 3 times a week. That's progress. I used to do these in-body scans that show you so much more metrics about hydration, skeletal muscle mass, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, whoa, my body's changing a lot, but my weight number maybe doesn't change that much. If you take that example and apply it onto whatever you grow, the metrics by which you use to grow are probably flawed and leading you to believe that you're not making as much progress as you think you're making. I'm gonna end it there. Those are a lot of thoughts, and I know I'm not really like wrapping them up super well. I hope that it gives you something to think about and it's helpful. Those of you that are here for that, there you go. You can leave the video now. If you know who I am, I'm gonna give you a little bit of my background and what's happened over the last year and what I'm trying to do. Over the last year, I started working for another athleisure brand as their chief marketing officer. We're a very small company. We're still, working really hard to get this thing really well off the ground. And I've had to put my music and my drumming and my YouTube aside so that I could focus on this, or that's what I told myself. I'm wanting to get back into it, and I think I'm gonna have to find my place a little bit again on here. But the truth is, like, my audience on here, I know what you guys are into, and I'm into that as well. I can't help it, There's a reason that when I come back on here after 2 years or whatever it's been, it's still the same topics. My brain still operates the same way. I'm still thinking about all this stuff. I'm still trying to constantly improve. I've had so much incredible growth over the last 2 years that I probably have 1,000 topics I could talk on. And maybe they'll end up being rant videos like this. But I don't want to put myself in a position of like perfection. I can still make strides here on YouTube. I can still grow here on YouTube without having an absolutely perfect schedule dialed in where I'm A/B testing thumbnails and all that kind of shit, like, Mr. Beast or whatever. Also, this is my kitty, Tony. Say hello to Tony. Tony is a kitty. He's chill. He doesn't, do annoying kitty things. He only does nice kitty things like sticking his feet out like this. Kitty toe beans. Anyways, see ya.